So today I'm installing a Weboost in my Winnebago Revel. And if you clicked on this video, well, there's a pretty good chance you already know what a Weboost is. If not, well, let me quickly explain. A Weboost is a cell phone signal booster extender. It consists of an outside antenna, the one that connects and communicates with the cell phone tower, and it then feeds the signal into a booster that is in the inside of the van, and then the booster feeds the signal, the boosted one, into an inside antenna that then the cell phone can pick up. So really the idea is to give the cell phone that sits inside the van better access to the cell phone signal outside of the van. And Weboost says that it can usually give you like 3-4 additional bars, whatever that means. But if there's a relatively weak signal outside, there's a pretty good chance that without a signal booster, there's zero signal inside of the van. And with the Weboost, this weak signal gets amplified and fed into the van and can then be picked up and used by the cell phone. This is the mounting plate that the antenna will sit on, like so. And Weboost includes a few options to attach this to your RV. With these brackets you can easily install it to a ladder. So this would go in here, this goes against this one, and then this U-bolt comes in from this side. Can you see that? And then you would just tighten the bolts down and this would attach then to the ladder. However, on the Revel, of course, the ladder is removable, so I cannot attach it here. I'm installing the outside antenna to the roof rack, but instead of using these supplied U-bolts, I'm using T-nuts. Let me show you. They drop into the rail of the roof rack, and then the bracket goes over it, and then I just put a nut on here to secure it. I think it looks a little cleaner than those U-bolts. Of course, I will be putting it on the inside, so then there's really nothing that is visible on the outside. Otherwise those U-bolts would go across the rail here. And to avoid any direct metal-to-metal contact between the antenna bracket and the roof rail, I'm attaching a piece of rubber. This is an old piece of a bicycle inner tube to this bracket. So then this sits between the rail and the bracket. So I'm not sure how good you can see that on camera. I can hardly see it from here. I'm going to mount this on the inside. So the T-nut, well, goes into the rail, 2 of them. And then this bracket needs to slide over it, aligned with the holes, obviously. Okay, that didn't work. Yeah, sorry for the awful camera angle. You can't really see anything. Let me skip to the end. So on the inside, the roof access port is in this cabinet. Up here, there's like a plastic cover, but really it's easier to take out this entire panel. It has 3 screws. And if you take them out, then you can lower this whole thing. Well, it's 5 screws, 3 for the panel and then 2 for this little cover. And then this whole thing pretty much folds down. so. And then the hole for roof access is right here. So on the outside, on the roof, this is the access port. This is the back of the van, so I need to drill a hole into here now. And you might have noticed that the hole that I drilled is much bigger than what I would need for the cable. That's because I just don't want to shove the cable in and caulk the heck out of it. No, I want to use one of these cable glands. So the cable goes in here, and then this nut is tightened down, and then a little ferrule compresses around the cable and makes it watertight. I think this is the much cleaner solution, much nicer looking, and will be watertight for much longer than using a hole with caulk alone. These cable glands get installed with a nut in the back. The problem is though, where I'm installing it, I don't have any good access from the inside to hold the nut in place. So what I came up with is this little tool here. This is basically a nut holder. I can put the nut over it and it is held in place. And then I can, hopefully, I can fish this one through from the inside, hang it in here, then grab it from the outside, then put the cable gland over it. And then I just need to align those two. I can then tighten it down and push this one back through and fish it back out from the inside. So I hope this works. If not, I have to think about something else. There it is. Okay, I think this is tight enough. This has a little rubber washer here, which makes it nice and tight, watertight. So now I need to run the cable from the antenna up here all the way around to about here where this roof access is, and then down into the van. Most people put the Weboost booster into this upper cabinet, and it makes sense because this is obviously where the antenna comes in, and it has a 110 volt socket in here as well as a 12 volt socket. But I really want to use the cupboard space for just that, as a cupboard. So instead of putting the Weboost booster in here, I will put it under the bench seat. So I stuffed the cable into this corner and then wiggled it a little bit until it came out on the other side right here. It wasn't too hard, it only took me a couple of minutes. And now I can put the Weboost booster somewhere into this area. So I made a little mounting plate for the Weboost. This drops into here, and then on this side it sits on this stand that screws to the bottom, to the floor of the van, like so. And this holds the Weboost booster itself, the optional 12 volts power supply, which comes with the cigarette lighter plug, and I also added a cigarette lighter socket, so a 12 volt socket, so this can plug in here. And then all I need to connect is the external and internal antenna, and then 12 volt into the Weboost. And that's it. And I think it's really a nice spot. It's well out of the way. I mean, this is under the bench seat, so it will never interfere with anything. I have easy access to it. If I ever have to replace the power supply or anything else, I can easily do that from up here. And well, all I have to do now is to connect it electrically, and really that means I need to wire it into 12 volts. So the advantage of mounting it here under the bench seat is that it gives me easy access to the van's original 12 volt fuse panel, which is down here in the corner. And there's a few open spots for fuses, and I can just use one of them for this new cigarette lighter plug. So I'm using the original fuse panel and, well, feed power into this plug. So this is the existing fuse panel, and there's number 18 is open, 15, 14, 13 and 11. They are all available. They can just connect a cable with a spade connector at the back and wire it up to the socket. I don't want to run the Weboost all the time though, so I'm also adding a little switch, a touch button to turn it on and off. And the perfect location for such a switch is here where all the other switches are. So thinking in this area, we'll drill a little hole in here, mount a switch similar to this type here, but for the Weboost. So with a single click I can turn it on and off. I need a 16 millimeter hole, which is about 5/8 of an inch, and of course I'm not drilling this all in one go. And finally, 16 millimeters. So now I need to remove this entire panel here so I can get access from the back to install the switch and drop down the cable. It's held in place with a couple of screws, so it should be easy to just take it out. So here's the back of the panel. And if you want to take it out, you have to remove all those screws. You also have to remove the left one for the bed lift, and you have to remove the right one from the solar charger, because those screws also go into the wall behind it and hold the panel in place. So now I can install my new switch, and I also have to cut out a little bit of this back wall. Well, to feed the cable through. So now I need to fish the switch cable, not the fish cable, the switch cable from down here. This is the cable where the switch will connect to up here. So I'm using this fishing rod thing, and it came out on the other side. I now have to attach the cable to it, and hopefully I can pull it up. And there it is. Now all that is left to do is finish the wiring under the bench seat. So this with the spade connector, this is going to the switch, and I need to connect it to the fuse panel, which is down here in the corner. And then this one with the open end, this is coming back from the switch, and I need to connect that to this red one of the cigarette lighter socket. And then I also need to connect the ground. This one is coming from the ground bar on the fuse panel, and I need to connect it to this black one that goes up to the switch, and this is just for the LED light that is in the switch, and I also need to connect it to ground, to the negative side of my cigarette lighter, which is this one. 3 connections in total, and then I'm done. I connected it to number 13 on the fuse panel, and there's a little LED lit up now indicating that there is no fuse inserted. If I put one in, oops, let me try that. Come on. So the LED is out now and it should be working. So let's test this out now. If I turn on the switch, switch lights up, which is nice. And then also down here, can you see that? This little LED in the socket lights up. This is off now, so it has a little switch on its own. Obviously I would leave this on all the time because it's controlled with the switch up in the panel. I connected the internal and the external antenna to the booster, but I have not mounted the internal antenna to any fixed position yet. Over the next couple of weeks, I just want to move it into different spots and see which one gives me the best inside coverage. Now I want to try it out, obviously, and here in my driveway I have pretty good 5G reception even without the Weboost. Look at this. So I'm gonna drive out a little bit into the countryside, into a spot where I know coverage is relatively weak, and then we can see what this thing does. Let's go. I'm only testing download speeds because that's really what counts for me. This is my initial test without the Weboost, and you can see this is almost nothing. Then I turned on the Weboost and it jumped from LTE to 5G up there within a couple of seconds, and then the speed was much improved. I made a bunch of more tests in all kinds of configurations with the phone flat on the table and the antenna in various positions, and they were not super conclusive, but the general direction is that, as expected, with the Weboost, speed is much faster than without it. Yeah, I know these were not the most scientific tests, but in any case I think it's always better to have an outside antenna than not. So it was fun installing it. I hope you liked it too. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.